Laugh out loud, love a lot, and shop for what makes you happy.
Hey guys, Mandy here with a pregnancy update for my first and second trimesters. I am a couple weeks into my third trimester now, but I just thought I would kind of give you a rundown on some of the symptoms that I had and how this pregnancy was different from my first two. So my first trimester, the very first thing that happens for me in all of my pregnancies is my boobs get bigger. That might be too much information for some of you, but if you are a too much information kind of person, then you should probably not be watching this video because pregnancy is not fun. It's not fun. The next thing is the constant peeing. People tell you these two things. They tell you you're going to be exhausted and they tell you that you're going to be peeing all the time. That is pretty typical first trimester stuff. Now for me, my exhaustion was even worse this time than it was with my first two, but I do have my first two, my 5 and my 4-year-old, that I'm kind of watching and keeping alive all the time, so it kind of makes sense that I don't exactly get to rest as much as I did with my first two pregnancies. Morning sickness is another symptom that they tell you about. I never threw up with any of my pregnancies, but this pregnancy was definitely worse as far as sickness goes. I couldn't eat very much. I lost, I think 13 or 14 pounds my first trimester just from not eating. And then this time around, I actually had really bad headaches. Now I did have headaches with my first two pregnancies, but they were in the second trimester, which my doctor told me was normal. Some of that has to do with the increase of fluids that your body is carrying. But this time it took me until basically the end of my first trimester to realize that the days that I got headaches, I had overexerted myself the day before. And by overexerted myself, I just mean I did stuff. I, did laundry or washed dishes or something like that. And that gave me a headache the next day. So it was good to know that. Wish I'd have known it at the beginning of my trimester instead of at the end of the trimester. For my second trimester, I was still exhausted until about 20 weeks, which was unusual for me because my other pregnancies, it was like as soon as I hit the second trimester, I was feeling better, I had more energy, but it was not the case this time. And again, it might have been because I was chasing after 2 other kids, trying to keep them alive and fed and things like that, that I didn't have the first time. Another symptom from the second trimester was bigger boobs yet again. And this is kind of right on par with my other pregnancies. The beginning of every trimester, my boobs got bigger. And then when my milk came in, they got bigger again. So like 4 times they grew. I don't know if that's the case for everyone, but it's been the case for all of my pregnancies. Another thing I've been dealing with this second trimester, which I had with my other two, but this time it's kind of worse. Everything's kind of the same this time, except just worse than my first two pregnancies. But that is a second trimester cold. I have had a cold for months now. It's not allergies. It happened with my other two also. It's just worse this time. So if I'm sniffling a lot in my videos or whatever, now you know why. Another TMI thing that's been happening the second trimester is constipation, which I dealt with a little bit with my other two, but again, this time is worse, like painfully worse. And some of that is baby putting pressure on your intestines and making it difficult, but also your vitamins that you take, the prenatal vitamins, can sometimes stop you up also. So I have found that taking prune juice, like 4 gulps of prune juice with my vitamins every day, really makes a big difference, and it's so disgusting and it tastes gross. But it really works. Another thing that happened in my second trimester was I finally popped. I finally look pregnant. That was really exciting because I felt like with my first kid, with your first kid, you don't pop for a long time. And then with your second kid, you kind of pop faster because your body's like, oh, we're doing this again, and just comes out. But this time, because it's been 4 years since I've had a kid, it's almost like the first time again, where it just took a really long time to show up, but it was really exciting when it did. Another thing that happened during my second trimester was I got to feel the baby start moving, and I started feeling the baby moving at 14 weeks, which I did with my first kid also, and the doctors would tell you, no, you're not feeling it, it's gas or something, because you can't possibly be feeling the baby at 14 weeks, but I've had kids before and I know what I'm feeling, and it was the baby kicking or moving around anyway, maybe doing somersaults, but that was really exciting, and I feel like she hasn't really stopped since then. 2 more big things that happened during my second trimester. The first was our ultrasound, and we had our 20-week ultrasound, and then they sent us back for another ultrasound a month later and another ultrasound a month later, and I can get into that in a whole other video if you want. It's just a lot of drama and stuff, and I don't think that they needed to send us back for more and more ultrasounds, and they still want us to go back for another ultrasound, and I'm like, no, but I can talk about that in detail in another video. Just let me know if you want me to. But we did find out we were having a girl, and that was exciting. And the last thing that happened the very last week of my second trimester was my baby shower / gender reveal shower. And I did a haul video. I can link that down below. Now, the reason that we decided to have a gender reveal shower, which with my other two we didn't, we just told people what we were having, and it was, you know, fine. But this time, because it'd been 4 years since we had a kid, we didn't really have a lot of the stuff that we needed anymore. And so I was talking to my friends about it, and they're like, we'll throw you a baby shower. And I was like, my fear is that what will happen with this baby shower is what happened with my daughter's baby shower. That was, we told everybody what we were having. And so instead of getting us things that we actually needed for the baby, they got us really cute, absolutely adorable little girl stuff. But we ended up with like a zillion outfits for her and blankets, pink blankets and all kinds of stuff. And like none of the stuff that we actually needed, like a baby monitor, a pack and play, that sort of thing. So my friends said to me, they're like, well, why don't we just not tell people, make it a gender reveal shower, and that way, you know, you'll get what you need, because nobody's going to buy you clothes if they don't know what you're having. So that is it for my first and second trimester updates. I'm sorry if this video ends up being long, but next time I have a pregnancy update, it'll be shorter because I'll only be covering one trimester instead of trying to squish two into one video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!